Hello again, this is Sam Houston, and welcome to My Front Porch. Embrace what we can be. Vote yes on Proposition B, new roads. Last week, I stepped out of my comfort zone and flew against the winds of nearly 6 years of our newspaper policy and urged the voters of Hood County to support Proposition A to create bonds to pay for a new jail and law enforcement center. The decision was not taken lightly. After a serious search into the pros and cons of passing such a proposition, it was obvious to me, as it should be obvious to any other taxpaying resident of Hood County, that voting in favor of the bond is the right thing to do. It saves money in both the short term and the long run, and solves a great many problems for our sheriff's department. As strong as the argument is for passing Proposition A, the passing of Proposition B, a bond for new roads and maintenance, is arguably even more necessary. Running alongside this column, there's a photo of the bridge at 377 and Morgan Street, taken before the lake had filled in, probably sometime in 1969. I urge you to examine this snapshot and do so closely. You'll notice some things are missing. There's no Walmart. No series of stores lining the roadway soon to be completed. And most notably, there's no traffic. Makes me wonder if those people had any idea what Granbury and Hood County had in store. I'm not sure how they could have. They simply knew that a bridge needed to be built because a lake was being created and folks would need a way to cross the water. Of course, they considered traffic patterns and how the cars would move across the landscape as residents went to work and school or their homes. But how could they have imagined what the future would hold? Here we are a little over 50 years later, and the single biggest complaint often heard about Granbury is related to traffic. People complain how hard it is to get through town at 5 p.m. or at 7:30 a.m. in the morning, or heaven forbid, on Friday late afternoon. We now have 70,000 residents in Hood County. When the building moratorium in Granbury is lifted, and as the Fort Worth population continues to grow south and west, that number is going to continue to grow and traffic will become even more problematic. In 2000, we had slightly over 40,000 residents in Hood County, and now we're nearly double that number. The population in 1970 was a mere 6,700 people, so the bridge and the roads being constructed in the photo were going to serve a population 1/10 of the size of the one it currently serves. Do you really wonder why traffic flow is bad? No one had a crystal ball, but what sort of future do you see for Hood County? Is it more likely it will continue to grow like we have over the past 25 years? Or for some reason will our population disappear, reduce back to the levels of the 1950s? I think the answer is more than obvious. It's important to note that city, county, and state officials have done study after study, had public meetings, got input from all the shareholders, forecasted, planned, and considered how best to address the traffic in Hood County. All those political entities are in favor of Proposition B passing. Even the Republican Party of Hood County and the Democratic Party of Hood County support the bond. When is the last time that you remember politically conflicted Hood County to be in universal support and have the willingness to take on such a project? The bond will finance construction and modification to 377, but a variety of bottlenecks and traffic-challenged roads throughout the county will also be affected. It'll add an extension to Loop 567, which will divert traffic around the busiest portion of Granbury. There'll be an extension to Mitchell Bend Highway, including a bridge across the river. Old Granbury Highway will be expanded to 4 lanes, as well as needed intersection improvements. The positive consequences of the construction project funded by the bond will affect all portions of the county and all its citizens. So how much is this all going to cost? It is estimated that the totality of the project is nearly $700 million. But importantly, the contribution of Hood County voters via the bond will only be $125 million. The balance of the funding will come from both the state of Texas and the federal government. By passing Proposition B, we demonstrate to both TxDOT and the federal government that the people of Hood County are committed to making road improvements and are willing to put their money where their mouth is when they complain about poor traffic conditions. There are tens of cities in Texas crying for state and federal funding to solve their traffic problems. People in New Braunfels, Georgetown, San Marcos, San Antonio, Austin, and many more are also begging for funding. If this bond does not pass, the money which is committed to completing the Hood County projects may pass to some other location. Remember, this state and federal money must be spent. Many of us paid our taxes, so as a result, the states and Fed could make highway improvements. Why would we want the money we paid in taxes to go to a distant community? We can have our money come home to us here in Hood County. If the bond is to pass, bonds will not be immediately issued. They will be created as the funding needs arise to limit interest payments and to safeguard our tax dollars. Immediately, right-of-way will be purchased, infrastructure will be moved, and other steps taken to get our roadways ready for this massive overhaul. Consider what a difference this will make to school transportation traffic, the experience of many of our out-of-town visitors, and most importantly, the emergency service vehicles like fire and police that need better, less congested roads in the case of an emergency. I did reach out to the former head of the Hood County Republican Party, Steve Biggers. He is a very vocal opponent of bonds and has been seen around town in a vehicle declaring, "Say no to bonds." Steve did respond to my question and was clear he did not support Proposition B. Quote, "Fundamentally, bonds derive their funding or payback from property taxes. I oppose the property tax structure along with the ad valorem design." When asked what would be his solution to the traffic issues in Hood County, he responded, quote, "State involvement with 377 being the primary solution. Possible loop extension, hence a smaller scale and attainable. Would even propose a state bypass completely." While Mr. Biggers is certainly entitled to vocalize his opposition to Proposition B, I'm convinced his response is dilatory to the needs at hand. From what can be discerned from his answers, he's opposed to the bond process as much, if not more, than this specific project. While entitled to an opinion and to express it, the wise choice is to rely on those county commissioners, the city council members, the staff of TxDOT, and the number of individuals and private citizens that came together and created the 377 strategic plan. From the professionals which have built thousands of miles of road, to our leaders, to the citizens who have been involved in the planning of the project from the beginning, there has been a commitment to do what makes sense and would be the most cost-effective for our citizens of today, as well as the future citizens which are sure to come. When you go to vote, vote yes for Proposition B. Say no to bad, ineffective, outdated roads. Say yes to a future where we no longer need to complain about traffic. If we don't do this now, then when? Delay only leads to higher costs, more taxes, and an extended period living with a problem we can avoid. Do you miss the Crescent train crossing? That road improvement has made a difference in a lot of lives. I hope 5 years from now the people of Hood County are saying the same thing about Morgan Street during rush hour. Thought for the day. The past has been there all along, reminding us. This time, maybe, hopefully, we'll get it right. Until next time, I'll keep riding the storm out.
You've been listening to From My Front Porch with Sam Houston, brought to you by the Granbury Theater Company. You can catch Sam's column every week in the print edition of the Hood County News or online at hcnews.com.